Manhood, brought you in part by Reboot, Superfarm, and Solomon's Bespoke.
Welcome to yet another edition of Manhood, where we aim to be better as brothers. And as I like to say, we are not speaking on behalf of all men, we are speaking to all men. But I'm going to say it, that I think today's topic, as a matter of fact, I know today's topic, we are speaking on behalf of most men, at least the men who are honest enough to admit it will admit it. And those who won't, we're not going to hold that against you, but we know you do think about it, because that's what makes us men. You know, the blood running through our veins, because the topic is the rules and roles of engagement, and the rules and roles of engagement as it pertains to women, and how you advance, how you look, how you peruse, what is the right and wrong of that. So I want to get straight into it. To my right, KG, music producer. To his right, the one and only Skinny Fabulous. Needs no further introduction to that, artist, internationally known. And to his right, I know you're a bit worried about him to your right, where they seen in your soul, behavior change consultant, Johanse IODK. So guys, gentlemen, the rules and roles of engagement.
Well, I know you're excited, so let me hear your take first, and then we will dive in after you.
I don't really. I'm here as a disciple of sorts. To be mentored, because I really don't know what, it was said at one point, and not to sound cocky in any way, but I've never had a line, so to speak, to go up to a woman.
Right.
And so that doesn't come from thinking cocky, that you're a good looking fella, but it's more sometimes being introverted extrovert, that you don't know really what you're gonna say. Now, once the conversation starts, I'm pretty good, but to say go up to a woman and say, "Hey, family," or whatever you say at that point, doesn't apply. But it's more in depth than the rules and roles to engage a woman. It's more specific to women. I've heard so many women when they overhear boys talk, and they might say, "Why men always objectify women?" And I ask myself, but when I see women on stage or in videos or carnival or in a party or any of these things, right? I don't see a gun to the head. I don't see anybody cracking a whip. You've made that of your own volition, your own choice to dress, behave a particular way. And I know some people hate to hear this, but as being part of the animal kingdom, we're going to watch. Mm-hmm. And watching is one thing, and some people might take it even further and want to touch. Mm-hmm. And so no matter what, we all agree, when a woman says no, it's no. But to get to that point of no or yes, in certain circumstances, what are the rules of said engagement? What are the rules of, do we play in that, and what do we understand women play in that?
Well, I'll start firstly, don't break the law. Right?
Agreed.
You see touching somebody without permission, right? That's breaking the law.
Agreed.
Right? That's and let me say that's the easy part. Because the other part is more about human dynamics, reading the room, reading the situation, etc. So once you're not breaking the law, you start good already. After that, it depends on the situation, it depends on the signs. Let me go.
Yeah.
And signs is a dangerous thing because everybody reading signs different.
I was just gonna say.
So I go in situation, signs, and also sometimes your own self-awareness, right? Because sometimes when you're approaching a woman, however it is, whether it's in a party or not, you could see her facial reaction to you. If it's to face, right? Whether or not you had a kind of pullback, or you get invited to come in.
I know you specifically said whether it's to face, which means that there's an alternate to that.
Right, it might not coming from behind.
It could be.
We're afraid to say that though.
No,
that is in a party you're coming from behind, right? Now when
it was the double entendre, the coming from behind. That is what
right.
artists spoke about.
KG and Skinny, tell me all your thoughts so far.
Skinny, well, I mean, I think. And there's the politically correct way to answer. And there's the answers that stay true to the personality of the person answering, right? So I'm going to try, because You
Nah,
explain that this is
we
the
don't know
program.
politically.
Yeah,
correct.
This is the program
we
to
don't
drop
know
politically correct.
we don't know politically
Cool.
correct. Here.
So let me just say now that the opinions published here
The comments and views expressed here.
are mine, and I am not running for prime minister
Right.
or trying to be a representative of anything other than my own opinion.
Right.
But I do believe that the temperature of the interaction between the male and the female, that is often guided by the energy of the female. And so the way I might approach Sandra might be way different than I approach Kimberly, and that's just based on these two women. And I really didn't have a premeditated way to approach these two women. When you spoke about how a woman carry herself and how that changes how a man will try to advance on them. I have a friend back in the day. He would come to the club in his work clothes deliberately. He would come in a jacket and ting, and he would come, he would take off his jacket and just slap him. And he wanted to look like that guy in the club. And his thinking was that would attract a certain type of woman because they would think that he's a businessman or whatever. And there's other guys who would want to put on their big chain and their saggy pants and whatever because they're looking for a certain type of interaction as well. I think that's important for women to acknowledge. Right? If you come in the shortest looking a certain way, you're not inviting illegal advances, but you are inviting the type of eyes that will most likely make.
Now you're inviting illegal advances too. That may not be your intent.
Right.
Your intent is not to attract illegal advances, but that's part of the mix.
But what we're saying is, regardless, once a woman says no, or you touch a woman without her saying yes or inviting you to do so, that's illegal. But we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is, it's amazing to me that we understand that, and we want to categorically say that men, if you touch a woman without her permission, that is wrong. That is illegal. You can't do that, right? So we're taking that off the table. What I'm saying is, and I think Skinny is also suggesting it, is that when you perform a particular way, when you dress a particular way, you know you're doing it in it's a sexual dance. It's yes, you're having fun, we're not taking that away. But then when you're doing something like that, you're going to invite the attention of men. And why is it that I get people all the time, whether it be in comments or women who hear bar talk, or you see it in chats or other brethrens saying things, women are surprised and amazed that this is happening and how.
It's like you're dangling food in front of a hungry man and don't expect him to eat now.
Or at least try to.
What is the logic behind that, basically, you know?
But you see, it depends on. You see, the food you put, you want a certain type of man. So if it's the wrong man, then you'll get the backlash. You know? So
but some of them tell you they just out with their girls and they want to enjoy themselves. But
no, but if it's a man they're attracted to come, they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say objectifying them. If it's a man who they're not attracted to, it's a problem. And I think that is an important part of it because even your brethren who put on the business suit, right? If he want to attract a certain type of woman, right, wherever that type is, if he attracts something else, he might react a different way. So I think part of it, and which you wouldn't know beforehand, what the person want to attract. It might be you or it mightn't be you.
A perfect example is it have a trend that going around now where women in parties or in carnivals and a man will come up to wine on them and they'll be filming and they go coast on the man and that video could go viral now, you know. That is a trend these days now, but let me say Skinny.
So they set it.
No, but let me say Skinny. Go up to a girl on a big truck, Carnival Monday. She not going and do him that because he's skinny fabulous. You understand? But a regular man go up to you. You're trying to create a narrative that a man not supposed to be like that. But as I say, if Skinny do it,
it depends on the man. It
so
really does
why
depend
the
on
narrative is that is wrong now? Because to me, that is what they try to paint now. They try to paint it like if a man walk up to you and try to be a certain way with you too up front, that is a problem. But as I say, if it's somebody of stature, it's not a problem.
But what you saying, KG, then, is that that proves the point even more that they
Yeah.
know what they're doing. Because if
Yes,
they're doing that
yes.
and they film it to diss you and that's something to go viral, you already know what you're doing and what you're encouraging.
You
So
let any
why-
woman chain up and tell you that she don't know what she's doing, right?
Yeah.
Right now, again, it have some cases, as I say, you'll attract things that you didn't know you would attract, but your intent first is, I want to attract, let's say I want to attract John. You might attract John, Michael, and Miguel, right? But your intent was that. So you didn't think about John and Miguel. But that is just consequence. And that's what I think is important for women, and men too, but women to understand is that you have an intent, but that doesn't mean you will draw in other things. And that is the reality of the world. There's no way to change human nature, right? Unless it had a specific way to only filter out John and get John alone, which I don't know exists up to now. Or even if we reverse for men, right? I want Susan, right? If I only know the way to get Susan alone and I might not attract other things, then we would be doing it. But the nature of the game is, as KG say, if you pour out food, hungry people will come.
But you know, like Skinny, you in a dance. Now, granted, what I'm saying is the dance is sexual, right? But I disagree that every woman who's out there dancing that particular way is looking for a partner or looking for attention, because they could be with their partner already and just simply dancing with the song and the momentum. You know, they hear, I was gonna put on a skinny voice, but good behavior, nothing, right? And you know, the songs are designed and engineered and written to evoke certain emotions, behaviors, and dances. So therefore, you could really just be having a good time, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that the dance is still sexual, whether that's your intent at that point or not. And so when an advance comes, don't be shocked by it, especially if you're wearing, I've had this discussion with women on many occasions, that, you know, you wear these low tops or, you know, this side boob and all these other things that, you know, Trinidad and Tobago has the best looking women in the world. So who are taking care of themselves at that, and so you're out and you're seeing that, you're going to have man drooling, whether you're with a partner or not. You know, they have a way, men are trained to look in that direction when they're with their partner and be able to clock that left or right very well, you know, like CIA. So I'm just going by the fact that the amazement on their face, or you hear women say that women are being objectified. And but yet still it's the women that are in the videos that are behaving a particular way, and
That is the woman that showing off the objects.
Of course.
Okay, so I'll say this in a maybe it might come across very in a umbrella way, but I think let me talk directly to the females
Yes.
now. Females, you come out there to have a good time, sometimes just to whine on your friend and just your friend alone, your girlfriend that is. But please do not be surprised when a man tries to whine on you. And that's fine if you don't want it. But the one thing I don't ever respect with women doing is don't embarrass a man because he tried. Unless he come and grab you up and disrespectful. But a man slowly chipping in to get a whine, you're going to, especially because you know a camera on, you're going to turn
Any
around and
trend,
size him
any
up
trend,
and treat him like he's a dog. No, because as KG said, if the right person came up to you in the same approach,
Throw it
is
back.
throw back. And that's
Come
why
out.
there's always a look back first. There's always a look back to see who it is. And depending on who it is
Yep.
a level waist.
Yep.
Right? And then that said too, I also want to make it a little bit more, I want to broaden the scope of it other than just talking about the whining and the partying environment and the differences in approach. My approach to a Alicia Keys versus a Rihanna is going to be two different things. And that's because they sell themselves different. It would guide how I approach them. My approach to Angela Hunt versus Nyla Blackman, two different things. I wouldn't know not to approach Nyla a certain way or versus Angela. And equally, I would know, well, I feel like maybe I could go and talk a little out of timing thing too. You know, because it's just the way it's presented.
Of course, yeah.
Right? Same thing for men. If a man come and he dance with the thing and he flex in a certain way, don't be surprised a person approaches you like if you're some kind of bad man.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you go into church, but you come in and you dance with the most thing and your foot roll up and you have one designer. The same thing for women. Understand when you walk into a room, you are selling an image. And that image will guide how us as men talk to you and approach you.
But women don't believe that, right? Because women do not believe that. They believe that it doesn't matter how they sell themselves. We have to treat them one way. Do you believe in that, though?
No,
I mean, it have
impossible.
a little part to that I could agree with. You know, we have to treat all women
With respect.
with respect.
Yes.
Agreed.
But at the end of the day, we as men, that's why there is manhood. You know, we understand that is two different products.
I am respecting you in the environment, but I'm going to look if you're dressed a particular way, right? I'm going to, if you're up on a stage or whine a particular way, I'm going to look. And yes, in many ways, we are men, it's going to turn you on. And if you're a little inebriated, you have a little, you know, what I see old people say, you have a little grog in your head, you might make an advance. And as you said, do shine up the man. At that point.
Let me play devil's advocate here. So two things. One, Dave Chappelle have a joke where he said, if you're wearing the uniform, you must think is that. If you see somebody wearing a uniform, right? If you see somebody wearing a police uniform, whether they're really a policeman or not, you'll think there's a policeman, right? So if you're wearing a uniform, right, where you're showing certain things, right, then people will think a certain way. And I can't say it can't be vexed, you know, because you could be vexed if you want, but I still the reality do. And then you're saying don't shine up a man. I don't advocate men getting shine up, but at the same time, it's a jungle we in, you know. It's a game we playing. So if you shoot your shot, it's a possibility you might get shine up. That is just part of it for me.
There's a respectful way
There's-
to turn on a man.
Yeah,
So,
true.
You know,
But not everybody respectful. So you can't just expect everybody to be respectful.
so respect is paramount. We all agreeing that one, we are stating it categorically, there's respect there. We're also stating that no matter what, you cannot touch a woman. No is no, and an advance on a woman and touching her is not right regardless of what is happening. But again, there's circumstances where...
But
you
wine
might-
is touch, eh? A wine.
Well,
yeah, but
that's
that's what I'm
glad
saying.
you say that,
You,
you know.
you have
But that
grog in
wrong,
your head. We're not saying it's wrong, but
If we going by the law books,
That we
right?
culture.
If we going by the law books, because going up behind a woman, right, and resting your front and
Yeah,
her behind,
right.
Correct.
that illegal, you know.
Right.
Correct.
It only a
And why you
permissible
skinny
during
thoughts on the
carnival. You know.
focus? Skinny and them is even
because-
skinny and them singing the music for that to happen.
That's
So
what I'm
let's
saying.
come round me for Trinidad, right? You're not come round skinny and them
Because
for
you,
that illegal behavior.
you rehearsing, you spending the whole year writing thing to come in
For
somebody's
that
head
kind
now,
of behavior.
and it's sending in that man in a trance, and then you see that bam bam rolling. What's the song I really like now? The Bamsi song with Young Brother, was it? You know,
Bend
something,
over.
you know, girl, I could see your Bamsi from the front or whatever. Girl, you have it. You know, when you're doing those songs, and you, like I say, you take yourself, you're having a drink, you decide to go out for a party, you know, and all of these things, like a melting pot, you know, everything comes together like the perfect storm. You can't blame my brother.
Right, and because the rules change for carnival.
Mm.
I
But you
was
see,
about to say that.
It haven't, but it had no standard rules because Robert rules,
rules change?
KG rules, Skinny rules, my rules still different. And
Carnival,
then, and then
Monday
we
and
don't,
Tuesday,
we don't know
we-
the
we're the
women's
same
rules
rules.
either, no.
Right.
Right now,
Which
law,
is what we're trying to establish. But go ahead. I
But
want you to-
the law have rules, set rules. So outside a carnival, you can't just go and rub up on a woman just so.
correct.
But once carnival starts, where there's a fete, a party, Monday, Tuesday, the rules change. But there's no set rules, and that is where the problem is coming now. Right? And I think is that we should understand human nature again. You're shooting your shot, it's possible you can get shot down. You would say, and I hear KG say to women should be respectful. Yes, I agree with respect, but there are disrespectful women. Just like our woman would say, I want to wear wherever I want and I shouldn't be objectified. It have men who will objectify her. That is just reality of things.
And that is what I want to spend most of the second segment talking about, that objectification. That's where I want to come back to the rules and roles of engagement. And that specific thing women say all the time about objectifying women, but we'll talk about that after the break.
Boom. So welcome back to another exciting edition of Manhood, right? And today's topic is the rules and roles of engagement as it relates to how we look at women, how women look at themselves, how they present themselves, and how we should approach them. What are the rules? Are there any rules? Well, we're not sure, but that's why we're discussing this afternoon. Here's the thing. Women, contrary to popular belief, women sometimes actually get up, put on clothes, put on eyelashes, weave, and all these crazy things, not to impress men, you know. They be impressing each other. Sometimes women love, in fact, most women, when they look good and they get their nails done, it's not even to impress a man, because us as men, sometimes we don't even pay attention to your gel and your acrylic, and if it's Brazilian, if it's Peruvian, we don't care about that. All we know, there's an overall picture. She looks good, she doesn't look good. Who will pay attention to the detail is another woman. So women sometimes dress a particular way to impress other women. And men should not always think that it have anything to do with them. Don't come out your head, bro. She ain't looking that. She ain't looking for you to give her a compliment. She actually more interested in her girlfriends giving her a compliment. Equally, men. When men buy the cars and they put on big rims and they set in the back and the spoiler and the MSG ignition and this, they're not trying to impress women really and truly. It's for other men to say, wait.
Dogs on them.
But the overall game, though, is that a female would associate that type of car and this type of dress code with success. And it would appeal. But we are not actually doing it directly to get compliment from a girl. We actually doing it for we brethren them too. So females, I understand that when you put on your little lash them down.
When you do that, that's not little, eh? That's
but that's what they're doing these days.
Right.
It's not for men. So we don't necessarily need to always take it as an invitation for us to make advances.
But let me take what you just said and ask us to do a deeper dive into that from everybody here. So with men, I could speak for men. When we do that, fix up the car and all that, we want amongst our peers to be recognized and to be seen as, hey, I have this, I have that. And other men to go, like you said, way, that real cool, or he has the fastest car. But by doing that and being accepted into your environment, it also puts you in an environment even amidst the females, because of the chatter that then happens and the woman seeing how you are respected amongst your peers,
For sure.
of all of a sudden attracts her. So I mean, I'm not a woman, but are we saying then that maybe women are also doing that by women recognize them, they're dressing up for that, are seen in their pack as the desirable one, or whisperings like, other women may whisper and say, she real pretty boy.
Yeah, because if a woman show off her figure, right? Because let's say it's not for men. She's showing off her figure because she like her figure. Other women say, because other women recognize, hey, that woman have a nice figure. And they might say, hey, Susie lose real weight, She belly flat and look, she bottom all outside here. That is not a man, though. Women would recognize it. So, you see, it's twofold, because what you're doing will attract attention. What is attention, hey, your brethren saying, hey, that's a real good car, or women, and women too, whether women admiring you or a man admiring you. The fact is, and we cannot escape this fact, what you do, when they say you make a fashion statement, right? Even though you know what the statement is, other people will interpret the statement different, and you cannot deny that it will attract people. Sure. And that is the part that's really important. So once you understand that, you could understand that it have some people they won't attract. So why be surprised? You could get vexed. You could be I'm not saying it could be disrespectful, right? But what I'm saying is, why be surprised? The surprise part is the part that get me. Right? Why are you surprised? You could be disappointed that you attract, meanwhile you want to attract he or them kind of men. You can be disappointed. But the surprise part don't make sense, especially when you pass a certain age and you're supposed to know the game. You're supposed to know nature.
I think we could all agree with that. Don't be surprised, ladies. KJ, you had a question for me?
I have two questions here. One is the rules. You as an entertainer in the soca industry, what would you say is the rules to approach a woman carnival time to get a wine?
Well, you see, I season. I tell myself I'm a professional, right? I know how to do my thing. I know how to read the
It's a
room.
skill.
Yeah, I have a skill. I will never get blank from a woman on the road or in a party. It will never, ever happen because I will make sure to establish certain things before I approach. First of all, I know
You're
I'm
not
just
running
approaching from the back and then let she look wrong to discover me.
you're
I'm not
doing that.
doing that at all.
Right.
At all, at all,
So
at all.
how-
She has to first know that she has to establish my presence in the room, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna make sure that she sees me looking at her at some point. You understand? She has to know that, I feel like he edging up to dance. And I might actually just have a conversation first before just holding she waist or anything. And I might rub shoulders with her to
I
just
find
see
any way
the
to do so is
temperature.
more than the waist you're holding.
Yeah, holding everything. But no, I too careful because I don't like rejection at all. Me personally cannot handle rejection. I don't like people style me. I don't like people reject me. So I will do everything in my power to make sure all those boxes checked first before I make an approach.
So I know KG had a second question for you. But you see, as you said that piece there, all of a sudden we gone off the topic of rules and roles of engagement because your Hansi done started scale you up and down there now.
Yeah.
Because they said about rejection. So you know right now it's therapy session.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm not
Hey, you
taking,
see?
I'm not taking
like,
rejection.
why it is you have the issue with rejection? We start to go back into childhood.
Well, Kate, you hold your question, Remember that
No,
question.
no.
What you're saying is good because if, let's say we have somebody have a fear of rejection, it will also change how they approach, right? Because it have women who fear rejection too, right? So they how they carry about themselves will also reflect the fear, right? It have some women, let's just say, who think, well, I don't think I am high on the sexual marketplace value, right? So I need to do a little more, right? But I want to attract, I think I hear, but I want to attract a man here. So let me do the most. But then I end up attracting a man here. I will get vexed with him because I didn't attract the man here. If you understand where I'm coming from.
And you might be his up there. So
Right.
the scales, it's not balancing.
Right, and that's why I say with human dynamics, it's real tricky because you see what you there, that your technique. And I understand it because sometimes you want to make eye contact first. You say you have a conversation, sometimes you have a conversation with the eyes. You see what is going on. That might work for some people. It might work. And the approach...
But isn't that only if you're looking for something other than just a... You know what I mean? Like a woman pelting waist, you might just say, hey, you don't want to take a... You're not trying to... All that eye contact and to me, that's more... If you're looking for a bit something more than...
Well, it depends, you see.
Well, I mean,
Remember
you ain't just whining on anything, you're looking for certain grades.
It has so many...
Kids, we don't just go and
just
whine.
whine on
Any
a
bam
bumper.
bam that rolling.
Right.
That means a wild man thing.
Right.
But sometimes
I
there is...
am no whiner boy, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I am more the young brother.
But you see
Where a woman say, take it easy, I go do the work. I start
you
up
see
and
the
go a little...
intent is the intent to know because some parties you go to you just want to wine on anything. You don't really
Right.
matter. You don't even know the girl face,
Yeah.
right? Then some you go to you want to establish the connection. Just like we as men have the intent, women have an intent. And sometimes you would know the intent beforehand. And that's what I'm saying. So even though you have an intent and your woman have an intent, you still have to shoot your shot if you're doing that. And if
Man
there's
like
a possible...
KG, man like me, we don't whine. We don't ever
Certain
go in a
grades.
dance to whine on everything.
No,
or anything.
never.
And I just had one conversation with him, and I know.
Yeah.
He's not that kind of guy either.
Right.
He's not that kind of guy. We go in an event, we go rock back in our corner and chill with the
Looking for the
boys.
top grade.
And if we're going to size up the what appeals to our taste.
Right.
And then carefully curate that moment.
Right.
We're not just whining and everything. Yeah, it's Tusty Man thing. We don't do that.
For sure.
Tusty man thing, well, that's a topic that we have coming
Tusty
up.
Man.
at some
And that's
point.
why it's
Tusty
mostly
man,
Tusty Men that get
Yeah.
the embarrassing
Right.
moments because they just want to come wild and ratty. They're not appreciating
Rough
the
it up
moments.
and they're not
You see, it
finessing. There's no
depends too,
foreplay.
because it had Tusty girl too. So if
Yeah,
a Tusty man meet a Tusty girl,
Correct.
it's a match in heaven.
And that's why Tusty girls sometimes get braced too.
Yeah.
I tell
Read the room.
you straight, the woman come up and just start a heart. I'm like,
Exactly.
what's going on in your family? You know what I mean?
So you understand even the reading the room. Because if you looking for us, if you're not a Tusty man, so you're not looking for a Tusty girl, your approach is different. If you're a Tusty man, looking for Tusty girl. Now, the problem is when it's incompatible. So when it's a thirsty man with a non-thirsty woman,
Yeah.
or a
Or
thirsty girl,
the thirstiness you're looking for is not the same thirsty because as a man you could
Right,
be
so
you,
there
know
are
what I mean,
different
you thirsty for
flavors.
this woman, but that woman, even though she thirsty, you're not her flavor. So that even
Thirsty woman is a scene. That worse than a thirsty man. Sure. But let me
What's
ask
your
this question.
second,
Yeah. There's a very deep question, somewhat, right? But I just want to hear your perspective on it. Let's just say the female artists in the soca industry, at least 90% of them, they sexualize themselves to kind of get it forward, right? But they also have a complaint that they don't get the same respect as the male artists, right?
Right.
I think it's because, like we say, like artists like Skinny, we will focus on your talent. We're not
Right.
focused on your clothes. We're not focused on nothing else. We focus on your tone of voice and your music and all these things. Whether like we say, Nyla, who is just as talented, but she sexualized herself so much that is all we could think about when we hear the word Nyla. She's look real good, boy, or whatever. We could call so
does
many.
look good.
I want to just single out Nyla alone, you know, but majority of the soca artists, female-wise, they will sexualize themselves a lot. So every time we think about the name, we'll think about the sexiness.
Right.
But as I say, they will complain that they're not on all their level or don't get the same type of respect. How you see that as in the sense of, because we're talking about the logic behind doing a certain type of action, but getting back a certain type of response now. Do you think that they should, if they want the respect, they would have to tone down that type of energy?
I think it goes back
Can you
now.
say Angela Hunt?
Yeah.
Right? Angela Hunt don't have much music out there.
Right.
But her name is well respected. And I think it's mainly because she never really sexualized herself. You know, even artists like Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn
Like
Hill
when they
never
hear the
did it.
name, you just think about music.
but that's not in soca
You
though.
know? No, I just
So
call
I
in
think in a
random
woman's
names now.
tone now, would she get the same
No, well,
reaction and
I
adoration?
say Angela Hunt, he say Alicia Keys. Like when you hear these names, you think about their talent, you think about the piano, all different things come into your head when you hear these
Yeah.
artists. But when they say Cardi B, they say Nicki Minaj, yes, they have talent too, but they may not get the same respect as a Lauryn Hill or as a Alicia Keys.
But I just think
You
in
know?
KG, and of course I know you direct the question to Skinny, but just to say that in soca is I just thinking if one of the female artists didn't dress a particular way and perform a different way and just came out say, in a long full gown
Right.
and stood up there, nobody.
Calypso Rose.
But that's in Calypso.
We are talking on the whole. I just
Right.
asked him about soca because he's a soca artist. But we just see it all across the industry.
Right.
Women try to sexualize themselves, as we are talking about the logic behind you're putting out this image, and all men could think about is sex when they think about you. But you're upset that they're not respecting you, like a Lauryn Hill, like a Alicia Keys. So that's why I'm saying, Skinny, as you as a man in the soca game, how you does see that, like.
I mean, I do think that women in the soca industry face a very unique challenge because they are trying to grab attention. When a male soca artist could put up something funny and get how much ever likes and get some engagement, a female artist may look to resort to putting on something revealing because that's what will get the clicks, right? So we understand the marketing value of having a good body and sexualizing yourself. My thing is that just like you were saying, don't be surprised when the audience see you as just an object or a sexualized object. And if that's what you're doing, then own it and be about it and don't complain about it. That's just it.
like what Cardi B,
You all
like
say
what
that
Cardi
to
B
the
did.
camera there again? Or?
Own it is fine because we're not burning you down for it. It's fine. It is absolutely fine. And everybody has a personality. When I look at Fayan, remember you tell me you're gonna guide me if I go in the wrong road.
Go ahead,
Well,
go ahead.
brother.
Go ahead. No, because I was going to say something
Okay, cool.
about Fayan too, you know.
When
right?
I look at Fayan, I do think Fayan is one sexy human, right? But it doesn't give me the same sales pitch as Nyla or Patrice. It's a different personality of
It is.
sexiness,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So whatever that comes with a kind of bravado. That comes with a I am me. I as a sexy boss.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She sells
Confident
that.
woman.
But also,
So I have
with-
to take that. When Patrice comes and she tells me, I think the last video with that was real steamy. And all I kind of think about is the steam. So don't vex with me if I'm watching you now and steaming
Thinking
up
about
my
the steam.
thoughts,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
fine.
I don't think when it comes to the arts, and again, I can only we're talking here specifically. I know you mentioned Alicia Keys and a couple others, but in the soca industry, it is about that. In many ways, even for the male artists, they have to, most of them bring up dancers, or you might bring up somebody from the stage, or your lyrics are not, I wouldn't even say suggesting, it's actually calling you out like an anthem to behave in a particular way. And so with Faye and Lions, because I know, when she's on the job site, as she said, it's Faye and Lions.
She pet name, Fifi.
And well, I mean, just see you've been around them enough. You hear Bungie call her affectionately.
Bungie, not you.
And well, they're friends. They're friends of Guardian Media. So by extension, I would say they're family, right? And so the Faye, when she goes up on a stage or is out in public, yes, she is sexy, but she knows that she has, apart from adoring fans, an adoring husband who's right there, very secure in his own manhood, no pun intended, and she is also very secure in her womanhood and her sexiness. But also when she goes up there, everyone else knows it. They're very public with that affection, and very public to know that, okay, I'm looking at you, but I know that you're a married woman. I know that you're a mother. So the vibes, as you say, about reading the room, you're not going and jump up inside it.
We know Patrice is a mother too.
But I see you going up doing Garland, right there. Come on, man. You look into.
Let me forget Bungie for a second.
Yeah, I think we should forget Galen for a second.
Yeah. Right?
Galen, let me just rest it up for a second.
Right? Is Faye presents herself as a wife, even though she's sexy. Think about it.
This is what I'm saying.
If you're in a fete, you have women who there with a man looking sexy, but how they move like a woman with a man. Now I know it ain't no exact science behind that, but so
And that's where you
can
get
look
over
at a
Faye.
woman and know she with a man.
Yeah.
She with a man, or she is taken. And I say that because remember, it's always a statement you're making. So if
Faye
you're
are not giving you no current.
Right, you're not feeling the inviting. You could say, "Wait, boy, hey, this woman put time in her body. This woman put time in her outfit,
and we could appreciate.
And you could
that.
appreciate, hey, this woman looks sexy, but you're not feeling like she inviting me to
Agreed.
come." Right, and I think that is a major factor because women who inviting you, there's no listen.
They
There's
know what
no
they're
one a
doing,
woman
they know what
inviting
they're
you.
doing.
They just might not be inviting you, but inviting someone, or
Right,
they opened an invitation. They just mightn't know it as yet. With regards to, they might be going at
What do you
that
mean they
fete,
mightn't know it?
Meaning at that particular party or fete or occasion, they might be looking for anybody, but people have go into relationships all the time where somebody comes up and you start a conversation. And next, that's your boyfriend or you're interested, your husband.
Let me tell you human behavior, right? Human behavior is taught into feeling, into action. Wherever you're thinking here, just come out in your behavior, right?
You manifest it.
If you're looking, whether it is you're open looking or you're kind of looking, right? You could tell, you could look at a woman and know, even if it's a married woman, even if it's a taken woman, you will know if she's looking. She mightn't be explicit.
Is that energy?
But you know. So I'm saying that because if a woman come to a fete and she looking, you will get the energy. If she not
Correct.
looking, if she
will
just
get the
come to
energy, same
vibes
energy.
with she girls, you'll get her energy too.
Yeah.
And remember, energy could change too, eh? So she could come vibes in with the girl and see some men and start to move like she looking after too. So I see KG say the energy, that's a real
Energy is
important
real.
part.
Yeah, so fellas, let me take a break and we'll come back with some more.
Welcome back to Manhood. We're talking about the rules of engagement in terms of approaching women. And we had some very interesting topics that came up in terms of energy, in terms of women wearing, revealing things, and then surprised when the man approached. And Robert, you were saying that sometimes women would show themselves and then talk about being disrespected, right? And Skinny, we come to you just now about your perception from the stage. What I want to say to that is, I think sometimes is a gaslight, right? Because if you had an intent, so you throw yourself, and you were saying that the woman expected to call them after and expect and things like that.
I need to. You're giving the little snippet.
I ain't going further than that.
I need to qualify and clarify. Very important, especially on this one. You might get a lot all of a sudden. I go walking down the road and some woman say, "Hey," to qualify the statement. There are times when women know it, men do it as well. There's no reason why, there's no difference in it. Men go on the hunt, women also go on the hunt.
Right.
And there's a desire. So, for example, I'm not saying skinny, whether you admit it or not, women, they're groupies. They're women who come backstage, whether it be for an artist or in general, women depends on who they're attracted to. And they are, as we speak about the rules of engagement, you have, what's it called, FTFs, or F bodies and things like that, trying to save the editor from having to beep out, right? To say,
all right, I know it's okay.
to say,
FWB, and
friends with
FWB,
benefits, yes. So that's the cleaner one to say. And the rules at that point are supposedly very clear, whether it's stated or understood that you want X, Y, and Z, and we share. There's a mutual exchange, and then afterwards, you find women make maybe, I'm not saying just women, maybe men as well, but women may come and say, I'm not respected, or why is he not calling me? All of these different things start to come about, and it's like, well, you know what you're going in for, and why are you now surprised by the end result of how you presented yourself would have warranted whatever level of respect or lack thereof is now meted out. And it happens all the time in all walks of life. Whereas men may be would be a bit easier. It's like, okay, well, I jammed that, I did this, and I move on. Women may now feel a particular way about it. And as again, I'm not speaking on behalf, I'm not saying it's all women, I'm just talking very general here because we're having a discussion. You notice I get a bit nervous. But you had to be so careful. You had to be so careful. But the reality is...
But I understand what you're saying, Robert. And it's happened with men too, because sometimes a man might say, I give a woman flowers and I give you this and that, and then you expect something in return when she tell you from the start, hey, I ain't really in for all of this, but you think you could have convinced her or convinced him otherwise, which is, of course, you're setting yourself up for failure.
So I want us to go, one thing that I've been I want to ask since we started, when you spoke about reading the room and approaching how, we keep talking about how a woman dresses, and it could be very inviting, and there's a specific thing, even as a soca artist, you dress a particular way. What does and this might be slightly off topic when it comes to the rules and roles of engagement, what does a man do in an environment to attract, like a woman dresses a particular way, dances a particular way, but I'm telling myself, if I see a man dressed in a particular way that is supposedly revealing and behaving a certain way, I have a totally different impression.
If a man dressed revealing, you say?
Well, like a woman reveals things. Yeah. So a man, apart from during carnival, is whip off his shirt, training 364 days a year, right? And that looking for those two, the fets to start and them 2 days of carnival, right? Outside of that, a woman, by less is more in certain cases, and reveals a certain parts of your body and attracts a man. And dances a particular way and attracts a man. But what does a man do
to have the same effect?
God, I was waiting, man. I
think in different circles, I come down to the circle again. So, let me just say it's a ground circle. Let me say it's a hood thing, right? In a city kind of vibes. The man who probably have on the bad shoe, whatever, he might be the man, right? Then the level does go up. Let me just say in the industry, I think status have a part to play in that too. Who he is, what he does do. That kind of vibe.
So
I
you
guess
just
it's
rock
the-
back with a stag or something with or coconut and Hennessy.
Yeah, I guess it's your
It
demeanor.
depends. No, it depends.
Yeah,
If,
son.
if you have a visa face, right? If
Correct.
people know you could use your face. If you
But we ain't doing nothing. Now I'm saying you ain't working for that.
But you work for it. You work to be a visa face, so you work
Who
for
he
it.
is, who he is.
So
Right.
you're showing that off. If you're a man went to the gym, you might wear a muscle shirt, right, to show off your muscles here. If you went to the gym, you show off the what did it call it? Boy? The vagrant cut. You know what I'm talking about, right? You show off that. If you do it work on your abs, you show off something. It depends.
What they call
you
it
might
about
show,
Piper Strong.
But about the skinny men and them, what we does do?
show off where skinny man are. Or you have a chain, as you say, the shoes. Sometimes you show off your chain. You have a goal, something. Wherever you think will attract the woman that you think you want.
That works?
You
The-
I
Like,
think
what-
it's
what- like
energy.
that-
I think
that-
everything
I
comes
don't
down
know.
to energy here because a woman could look good and like you could go to a party and see 100 beautiful women, but you don't want 100 of them. You're looking at one of them. What attracted you to that one woman is a certain energy that she possesses. I think that men have that same energy too. You could go to a party and a woman want you out of all the men in the party. I was a skinny man, you know, man, and no muscles and thing, and I went party and a girl onto me. I set a strong man around me and thing, and she's still onto me. She don't know me from a place. But
Right.
that energy I think is possessed. Yeah.
That's really important.
Mojo is still a word?
Of
I'll show you
course,
my
of
age.
course,
Okay,
of course.
just make sure.
Yeah, that game.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that
something,
game.
You
you
have to
know.
have game. You have to have game.
And what? But when you say about like visa face and things like that there's certain, you go red man is hard to have anything but you go out there and it's just an energy like you said,
It's an energy.
and sometimes the status is you don't get through. It's no big deal.
Okay. Now, one thing I'd like to highlight, we talk about objectification, right? A lot of people, we just objectify each other, Because if you say, you see that man with the muscles, right? That is objectification, If you say that man who was wearing the gold chain, that is objectification.
Yeah.
And are using men first. Even if you use your car, if you be known as the man with this
with the
car,
car, yeah.
that is still objectification, right? And I think sometimes objectification gets a little bit demonized because I don't have a next word for it yet, right? Objectification gets demonized because we still consider somebody based on what they present us, right? If somebody say the therapist with the dreads, they don't know my name, right? Somebody could say, in fact, well, that's all you're seeing. If you understand what I say, because let's just say I present that, I have my hair out, so I present that to the world, and that might be what stand out to somebody. So with a woman, if she have her bottom exposed, right, and somebody see it, that is the object that they see. So that is what attract me to her. If it's her face, if it's her breast, if it's something else, that's what I see now, right? So sometimes objectification is kind of get a bad rap, but sometimes the first thing we see is an object.
Yeah, first impression, the last impression, most times.
And his life. You
And
can't
his
run
life.
from it. There's just a hypocrisy that exists between male and female when it comes to
Thanks.
who gets objectified and all these things. That's the point. And here's how crazy it is. If I go on stage bareback and a female in front comes and start to rubs my leg, it's all fine. I can move away, and that's fine. Nobody says anything. If Destra go up there, Patrice go up there, and a man take his hand and slide his hand down her leg, it's like way out of time in molest, assault, and this is the hypocrisy of the world that we live in right now. But we were also talking about the fact that how do us as men go out and be noticed? And you rightfully said, it depends on the circle you're in. There are circles that will feel like they need to buff up in gym. You might have circles that feel they need to put on the designer clothes, might need to buy jewelry, or they might need to put themselves in a certain circle of other men to make sure they get noticed. There's not really one rule of it. But for me now, let me just talk about me now. You see me, you see when my red dot hit a woman's forehead, that's it.
Straight shot.
It's chopper. It's chopper. I don't have no strategy for that. But when that dot, and she looks
Bullseye.
down, when she friends say, hey, you have a red dot here. And a skinny dot. That's it. Chop. Yeah. You're going down. But, I mean, you were asking me off here, like, how do I see it from the lens of an artist? When I look at like a Dexter Daps, we are responsible for the type of reactions that we get, and it goes for men as well. When Dexter Daps go up there and he started singing a million girls start to rush, he look for that, you know. He look for it, and he knows that what he's doing will attract that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same how and is Bungie a lesser artist than Dexter Daps? By far, no. Same caliber. In fact, my Bungie's my boy. But you wouldn't see that same reaction, right? Even if Bungie was single and not married, you wouldn't see that same reaction because he don't go up there selling this as a sexy man, come touch me now. He going up there like, yo, I from the grung, you know. I come from when grung used to carry it, so respect me, you understand? So it's all about how we push out our image. And I just find that everybody, male and female, do not be surprised and do not style people for the things that they perceive of you that you gave to them in the first place.
Facts.
And that just goes for all artists, for all people. Deal with it. It's life.
So I wanted just to piggyback off what you just said. So when you go up and you perform and you evoke those emotions and the same things that we're talking about where women behave a particular way, that starts from your planning where you're writing it. So you have it, you almost in that genre as like a scientist, you're already planning certain things. So you're you're in your lyrics, you know what you're looking for to get people to do, to follow, to where they say like to carry it, or what's this one where you're telling everybody to
Pick up something.
anything, and all these different things. So when you're telling someone to wine, jam, party, whatever it takes, right? So that's part of it. You're writing it, understanding the formula, and then you go up and you perform it, which is another thing, rehearsals, etc. Because I think even you said it, where you only practice, you practice what you don't know, but you rehearse when you something along those lines. You said it's smart at one point, right? And when you go up there with all that thinking and understanding, based on what we talk about, the rules and roles of engagement and the objectification, like how, as an artist, put on that skinny fabulous head now as to, boy, for the first time
You don't know what you want to ask?
no, I know what I want to ask. It's just the context of you're doing all of that, and then you're seeing this behavior, and it's almost like a flow I'm looking for in terms of how to get inside the head of Skinny Fabulous at that point to talk me through that process, basically.
Well,
What did you see that we?
I consider myself a crowdsmith, a wordsmith, an energy smith. And that is because I understand that words have power. I understand what I write and what the intention of it is when I eventually get to a point that I perform it, right? And that's why I come from St. Vincent. We are accustomed to very riotous revelry. We're accustomed to shaking things. And so most of my writing, I hope to invoke the freedom of revelry and expression. You know what I'm saying? And so my style of writing might be different from a Young Brother. When I listen to Young Brother, I know Young Brother likes to make girls whine and bend over, and you know what I mean? So when he goes on stage and girls start to scream, I understand, and that is a part of a formula that works for him, and that is brilliant. That in and of itself is the brilliance of a Young Brother and how he chooses to write versus a Lady Lava, who chooses to write embracing her own sexuality and dealing with a man in the most aggressive and dominating whatever situation she's in. I write differently. Kes writes differently. Kes plays it very safe mostly and appeals to a more romantic side of the audience. You understand? So every artist that goes up there understands what their superpower is, and they play into that. Bungie is a lyricist. Bungie will glad when the music cut off and the sound system giving problems because I'm going to freestyle for 3 minutes about how the sound system this and the DJ this and the light this and a man in red and all kind of craziness. That is his power. So everybody understands what they're selling and what they look for success out of. Women too. So I saw Nessa had a really bad lash out.
Yeah.
And I understood it because persons were kind of, I guess, criticizing her for her singing some like things about, I don't know what she was singing about, if it was a booty or whatever.
Panty, yeah, like too big for the panty.
Oh,
whatever
the
it is.
spider suit and
Right. And
That fit in the
I hear she paying because it's a hypocrisy.
it is.
Because when our problem child or who is this that take off the show or Moto or any one of these men who pay attention to physique, right? And they go up there, it's fine. A man can take off what he want and it's just love and respect same which way. So when a female goes and does it, you want to burn her down. So that ain't really right. But at the same time, females, when you do it, understand that you're making that your superpower. You're selling that. So when people buy it, accept the sale, give them a receipt and go.
So, and this is what I'm saying. So you understanding that the reason why you're successful, why you're skinny fabulous, why your performances and why people react the same way is because you understand what people are still happen to fight down. That or you're objectifying us or we behave in a particular way. But the reason, like I'm saying, your music is accepted is because you understand that is all horse.
that is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right. When you go a fete or a dance, right? Now I can't speak for everybody, but most people want to have a good time, right? And a good time could be different things to different people, but I think for the most part, people want to free up a little bit. People want to relax, and that could still take different forms. But the point is, you want the artist, whatever style it is, you want them to make you feel relaxed and free up in a certain way. So if it's jam music, that is a free up. If it's the romantic dancing style music, it's still a free up. If it's the lyricist, right, and you're still into it, it might be whining and jamming to it, but you're still getting to free up now. And I think that sometimes where the hypocrisy comes in, when you start to free up, right, you can't really predict sometimes human behavior when you start to free up. And especially the nature of carnival. Carnival, and this is how I perceive it, carnival is like a drug, right? You spend this portion of the year sometimes pretending, sometimes suppressing, right? And when you reach out here, you let loose. And again, let loose could look different to everybody. But the point is, you let loose in some way. You might let peace loose, or some people let all loose, but you're still letting something loose. And you can't really predict how that will look. So when you're now presenting yourself, male or female, in a certain way, and you letting loose and somebody else letting loose, right? It's almost like think about it, a chemical reaction, right? And this chemicals, you're dropping in chemicals, you ain't sure what the chemicals are. So when the reaction happens, you're not sure. And that's the nature of carnival. And to pretend you don't understand carnival, I think that is a major hypocrisy, as you were saying, and a major gaslight, because that is what carnival is.
Of course.
So I know we need to go get round to closing thoughts, and hopefully, Skinny, you know, I like when you go a cappella. So I don't know if you could close us on something, when we come to that point. But in those rules of engagement and the roles within that, I would like to start by saying that there's definitely respect is a must. In everything, respect is a must. And again, I want to clarify and qualify that we, as men, you can't touch. You can't touch unless you're invited to touch. A woman saying no is no, regardless of how they're dressed, how they're behaving. I understand the temptation, but according to the advice that we've had here, to get some eye contact, read the room, figure it out. As can you say, go wrong and check it out. See whether or not you're in the game, whether you have game at that point. And sometimes it is not your turn to win. Sometimes it's your turn to lose. So walk away from that, enjoy yourself, enjoy the revelry. There's so much that men are still trying to understand, but men are men, and know that much about them in terms of the attractiveness is there. Trinidad and Tobago women are the most beautiful in the world.
And it works both ways, the ladies. You're not also at liberty to just walk up and touch. Read the room, right? Read the room.
See, that could be a whole different manner there about women and sexual harassment and coming and touch men, right? But we will leave that there, right where you leave it.
Right. I had my experience and I'll come and grabble up, man, and actually upset with me that I upset with she. It's like, how you gonna
Correct.
do that with this? No.
And they're watching you in your face too when they do it. I have
Anyways.
had so many occasions women touch your back and front and then looking back here and smiling afterwards. And you're like, where's the equity in that?
Yeah. No, I fresh too.
As
I
you
style in
said.
the same way.
So, closing thoughts.
Rules of engagement when it comes to women. One, we lay the law about following the law. You can't just go and violate somebody just like that. We touch that. But everything have an energy, right? And it's possible that the energy you giving off could be read wrong. So open yourself to the possibility that you might have to embrace somebody, you invite something that you may not want, and you may invite something that you want. And Carnival is a unique period. Many studies have been done on Carnival, and you can't really put a formula on Carnival because every year is something different. Every year we have different people coming. Every year it have different songs. So if you understand the randomness of Carnival, which is a beautiful thing in itself, then there will be parts of it that you may not enjoy, that you may invite, that you wouldn't want, and that is, for me, that is just part of it.
KG.
I mean, I think we touch on everything.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Ladies, be real with yourselves, and fellas, stop embarrassing yourself. You know, that is what I take away from this topic. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, ladies, you have the power. You're the most powerful creature on this earth. And you create life in so many ways. You could destroy life in so many ways. Understand the power of your body. Understand the power of the energy that you put out. And sometimes if you go out and you realize your energy invited a certain type of advances that you don't want, maybe it is wise to reevaluate how to get the actual advances that you're looking for, right? And that's not to say that you are now responsible for every man who come up with an outer timing approach to you. And we as men, we have the same kind of responsibility to know that we also invite the energy that we put out, right? Yeah. And I just want to say, because I know for sure, I want to read, because the only time I said a statement in this room and the one female who's part of the technical crew nodded in approval was when I said that most women dress and get sexy for the approval of other women.
You know,
Understand that. I really want men to understand that too, and just don't always think that the universe is about them when a woman leaves her house with she nice clothes.
KG, not KG, Skinny, I want you to, so again, if you could take us with a verse of good behavior, nothing, but before you do that, the one thing I want to ask you, because you really have some insight, some very deep, insightful nuggets that you're leaving us here with today. What's your thoughts on what does it take to be a man, and what is a man to you?
What does it take to be a man?
To be a man, and what is a man to you? When
Inherently-
you say I is a man.
Inherently,
Yeah.
a man is a provider. Inherently, a man is a protector. Inherently, a man is a hunter. Inherently, a man is a leader. And the minute you lack more than two of those things, I have questions for you.
I want to hear that good. The just think it's so appropriate.
Boom! Everybody push something in the air, Lord. Behavior nothing. Good behavior nothing, yeah. Good behavior nothing. When the soca hit my brain, Lord. Behavior nothing. Good behavior nothing. Good behavior nothing. I say murder. When we mash up the people fed, we just lash up the people fed. We just mash up the people fed. I tell them murder. When we lash up the people fed, we just mash up the people fed. Chuku 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 chuku. Then I promise I'm today I go jump like I never jump, wave like I never wave, wine like I never went before, just to show you I'm sorry. Ladies, if I disrespected you today, I'm sorry, but I need you back in my life. Look at people by the choke, behavior running wild. You know what I'm saying, Skinny Fabulous. This was another exciting episode of Manhood. Big up the behavior specialist. Big up KG. Big up Robert. And I want to be on your program next time
course,
because we have
of
some real
course.
things to talk about.
course.
Don't know, big up Brian, you, the whole team. Until the next time, Manhood, give me a job to co-host some of these things, right? Don't know. Bam!
Only at the Shabbat and you go and girl a song called Friend. Big up Manhood. Spotlight, one time. Yeah. One time. Yeah. This one there for the fake friend, you know?
Forbesy on the
Why? Mama tell you about friend. My brother, them are my brother, you know, you see it? No friend that. Go why? Mama tell you about friend. Tell you about friend. What you believe, dark say it always have a end. Give them the things and them still come wrong like you never have. The monk that think, mama might attack, they might really get. Mama tell you about friend. Tell you about friend. You keep it up, it might lead it to your death. You have to be strong in the street, every man turn a target. Shabba Nation have to tell them, cause you know the thing said. Can't take it no more. Where they them know when the Shabbat and they did poor. Used to sleep on the floor. No water for months, just to tote it from straight up the hill at that dead. Where them know about it yet? Top man in my place, so them coulda never hear this shit done in no skirt. But them know about that, from them violate, that are the worst. Cause all the baddest thing now work. Mama tell you about friend, tell you about friend. Would you believe dark side always have end? Give them the things and them still come wrong like you never help. The monk that think they might attack, they might really get vexed. Mama tell you about friend, tell you about friend. You keep it up, it might lead it to your death. You have fish strong in the street, every man turn a target. Shabba Nation have to tell them, cause you know the thing said. I can't take this style thing. Nobody keep them dash with them no recycling. Shabba Nation, long time I've been fighting. Who I got the eyes to see them must be blind still. Enough girl done playing with my mind well. I try stream and mess but get a 9 them. I try Jaja done give me the eyes to sight. Them I tell about friend, tell about friend. What you believe dark say it always have end. Give them the things and them still come wrong like you never had. Monk that think they might attack, they might really get. Mama tell about friend, tell about friend. You keep it up, it might lead it to your death. You have to be strong in the street, every man turn a target. Shabba Nation have to tell them, cause you know the thing said. No man, I can't take it no more. Where they them there when they Shabbat and they did poor. Used to sleep on the floor. No water for months, used to tote it from straight up the hill at that dead. Where them know about it yet? Top man in my place, so them coulda never hear the shop done in no skirt. We know about that, from them violate, that are the worst. But Shabba Nation badness not provoked. We know we done. Remember tell you about friend. Would you believe dark say it always have end? Give them the things and them still come wrong like you never help. The monk that think we might attack, they might really get. Remember tell you about friend, tell you about friend. You keep it up, it might lead it to your death. You have fish strong in the street, every man turn a target. Shabba Nation have to tell them, cause you know the thing said. Oh my God, man on spotlight. Oh my God, you don't know big up KG, big up the whole of the sensi shit. One Forbes man, you large, you know? That's that.
Manhood, brought you in part by Reboot, Super Farm and Solomon's Bespoke.